this is the Sri Lanka we saw the Asia Cup, at least towards the end of that tournament. They have bossed their first Super 12 fixture of this World Cup. They've brushed Ireland aside by 9 wickets, gives them a nice healthy boost of that net run rate in what is certainly being looked at as the group of death in the Super 12s of this tournament. This is Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. We'll hear shortly from Niall O'Brien and Farveez Maharoof, but Anil Kumble, that was as clinical, as efficient a performance as you'd expect from Sri Lanka.
Yes, I did tell you that 128 is a bit tricky and you need a good start in the power play, which they got. De Silva, the new opener, along with Kusal Mendes, who's now got 2 back-to-back 50s. So that certainly is wonderful for Sri Lanka. Right up the order, you have an opener firing, then Pasum and Nisanka is available hopefully for the next game, which is a quick turnaround. And I think Sri Lanka certainly deserve this win because they played really well, they bowled well, restricted Ireland to 128 and then knocked it off in style.
Yeah, Farveez, it's like the more you tighten the screws on this team, the better they perform. They lose Chamira, they lose Gunathilaka, suddenly they're without Nisanka, they lose a game to Namibia, and now with all that, this is Sri Lanka's most clinical, thorough performance. It's just the Sri Lanka way.
And they're good at giving some heart attack to start with, and then a few good pills get the momentum running. But overall, what a brilliant game. Everything what the think tank has planned did work today. Brilliant. I thought Dhananjay Silva was excellent up front. And Charita Salanka, I mean, entire tournament, he started pretty badly. Asia Cup, he got himself dropped. And then the way he batted today, it was good to see. And they say, peak at the right time. I think Sri Lankans are peaking at the right time. I mean, no disrespect to Ireland. They were quite mediocre today with their performances, with the bat, with the ball, even in the field. Sometimes when you're playing international cricket, though you don't have the runs on the board, you need to show your presence in the field. But I didn't think they were up for it today. But overall, I think Sri Lanka batted really well. As Anil Bhai said, 128 in T20 games can be a tricky score because it's not that big, not that small, it's just in the middle. But important is to play a natural game, which the Sri Lankans did and won it comprehensively.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in losing to Sri Lanka, and Ireland would have known that, Niall, but the manner of the defeat, this is more disappointing than you would have liked, right?
Yeah, it was a disappointing performance all around. I think, bar winning the toss, not much went Ireland's way. Subpar total with bat in hand, and then, with the ball, they weren't great. They're always, when you get a low score, you're chasing wickets because you need wickets to claw yourself back into the contest in any kind of way. So when they don't get those wickets early on, you're always chasing the game. Balbirnie gives Josh Little 2 overs early. Generally, he's bowled Josh Little 1 over and then taken him out of the attack and then brought him back later in the power play. But he's going for broke because he knows we don't have enough runs on the board. We need wickets. And all the bowlers really got fetched. Gareth Delaney bowled well. Interesting point Roofy makes about the fielding, because that's something Ireland have been historically brilliant at. All through my playing days, we could always outfield the opposition. We may not have better bowlers than Sri Lanka, may not have better batters than Sri Lanka, etc. But we could always say, whoever we pitted ourselves against at a World Cup, we will always try and outfield them. You think like Porterfield at backward point, sprawling himself around, John Mooney diving on absolutely everything. The fielding in this Irish team in the last 12 to 18 months has not improved. And actually, this World Cup, I think that's 6 catches they've dropped now in 4 games. So, and Anil will know as a coach, in T20 cricket, you cannot be putting down that many catches and expect to keep getting consistent results because it's going to hurt you. Didn't hurt them today, but it could hurt them closer down later in the tournament when there's a game that's on a knife edge and you put a fairly routine catch down, that could cost you. So that's an area they need to work on. It's not all doom and gloom. It's the first game of the Super 12. It's a disappointing loss. Reflect, park it, get back in the nets, and there's some more games coming fast and furious, and they're all exciting games. So I don't think Ireland need to dwell on it too much. It is disappointing, but they'll move on.
Yeah, they must move on. We hope for a better Ireland performance. We'll just quickly revisit the decision at the toss and maybe something for teams to think of. There are a lot of games in Hobart too tomorrow as well, Anil, but did they get it wrong at the toss, Ireland?
I think, you don't try to change things, what's been working for you, especially from an Ireland perspective. And they've played all their 3 matches at Hobart. The 2 wins that they have had in Hobart came by chasing and that's been their game. And we spoke to Niall as well, and Niall mentioned that the game plan and the strategy for Ireland to win T20 matches have always been put the opposition in and chase down that score. I was surprised, why did they have to change? Just because perhaps those two spinners played on their minds, and then also saying that this is a used wicket. I mean, used wicket in a T20 doesn't really matter unless it's really dry and it's going to turn, but it didn't look like. It looked like a very good surface. Sri Lanka batted on it, and you know, they got those runs in less than 15 overs. So I guess, you know, teams will look at saying, okay, this is a good batting surface, you need to bat really well, put up good scores, and then try and bowl. That's exactly how I'm sure Zimbabwe and South Africa who play there tomorrow will be looking at.
All right, well, that's it. Job done then. These games come thick and fast, as Niall O'Brien points out, and Sri Lanka have a rough end of the fixtures, long flight to Perth, where they play Australia, and now they sit pretty on top of Australia with a healthy net run rate going into that game. Ireland will go play a familiar opposition in the form of England the next day. So we will have thoughts from Farveez, Maharoof and Niall O'Brien as this tournament goes forward. Big thank you to both these fine gentlemen. Niall O'Brien, now the sun's coming up in the UK. It's time for him to get some rest. Is it, Niall, or no? Have I started your day early?
This time for breakfast, mate.
Excellent. He's going to watch everything. Niall O'Brien loves to watch everything, so he's going to be watching it, and we're going to be hearing from him again soon. Anil Kumble, I think we're done for the day. Should we go home? Anything else that we have on our agenda today?
Nothing much. just the usual India-Pakistan game coming up.
All right, then we'll do it. Might as well. So we'll take a little break right now, and we'll be back for build-up to India versus Pakistan at the MCG just at about 1:30 Indian Standard Time. So Anil Kumble will be with us. We'll be joined by Stephen Fleming, Anu Ruj Mumtaz as well. So look forward to your company then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout.